Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Today, we're diving deep into a compelling biography called Gambling Man, which chronicles the life of Masayoshi Son, the founder of SoftBank. This isn't just a story about business, it's about ambition, risk, and what it means to chase a vision on a global scale. The book opens by setting the scene on a Wednesday evening, February 2nd, 2000, at the Volatile Disco in Tokyo. The atmosphere is electric, filled with professionals eager to hear from Masayoshi Son, the head of SoftBank. He was a visionary who embodied the hopes and dreams of many during the internet bubble, and his presence at this Bit Valley Association event was highly anticipated. Son's speech that night was a call to action, urging Japan to embrace the digital revolution and young entrepreneurs to challenge themselves and become the young rich. However, this moment coincided almost exactly with the peak of the market. Just days later, on February 15, 2000, SoftBank's stock hit an all-time high, briefly making Son the richest man on the planet. But the tide turned quickly. The dot-com bubble burst, and within 11 months, Son lost 96% of his wealth. This dramatic rise and fall is a recurring theme in Son's life, marked by extreme successes and devastating setbacks. The book then shifts to Son's early life, starting with his grandfather, Son Jong-gyung, who migrated to Japan from Korea in 1917. Facing discrimination, Son Jong-gyung adopted the Japanese name Yasumoto. The Son family experienced hardship and prejudice, especially after Japan's defeat in World War II, which left ethnic Koreans in a precarious position. Son's father, Mitsunori, was born in 1936. He started making moonshine at 16 due to lack of work and shifted the blame when caught. Mitsunori later found success in the pachinko business, a controversial but lucrative industry often dominated by ethnic Koreans. Masayoshi Son was born on August 8, 1957, in a Korean settlement near Tosu railway station. The baby was said to have remained silent for 15 minutes, refusing to cry until prompted by the midwife pouring water over his face. Growing up, Masa experienced discrimination, which fueled his determination to succeed. Masa's father, Mitsunori, initially discouraged him from going into business, but Masa was inspired by Den Fujita, the founder of McDonald's Japan. Fujita advised Masa to focus on computers and learn English, setting him on a path toward technology and international business. In 1973, Masa went to the University of California, Berkeley, to study English, marking his first step towards embracing his Korean identity and resolving to fight discrimination. Masa was struck by the diversity and openness of American society compared to the more homogeneous and discriminatory environment in Japan. He later enrolled at Holy Names University, where he met his future wife, Masami Ono. Determined to graduate quickly, Masa completed high school in record time and entered UC Berkeley as an economics major. At Berkeley, Masa's focus shifted to money-making ventures, leading him to develop a talking word translator. He enlisted the help of Professor Forrest Moser at the Space Sciences Laboratory to create a prototype. Masa also partnered with Hong Lu, a Taiwanese student, in various business ventures, including importing video game cabinets from Japan to the U.S. Masa was determined to come out as an ethnic Korean and adopt his real name, Son Jung-yui. Despite facing resistance from his family, Masa insisted on using his Korean name, signaling a commitment to fight discrimination. After selling the prototype speech translator to Sharp for a substantial sum, Masa returned to Japan in 1980 with ambitions to build a software distribution empire. In March 1981, Masa launched his first business in Japan, Unison World, later renamed SoftBank. The first business was located on the first floor of a ramshackle two-story office building near a railway station in southern Fukuoka. His early ventures faced challenges, but Masa's persistence and vision eventually led to a breakthrough with a major deal with Joshin Denki, an electronics retailer. Around this time, Masa met Dr. Sasaki, who not only vouched for Masa but offered his own house as collateral. He also secured exclusive relationships with key software vendors and department stores, establishing SoftBank as a major player in the Japanese market. At the age of 24, Masa was diagnosed with chronic hepatitis, threatening his life and the future of SoftBank. Despite the health crisis, Masa secured a loan from Dai-ichi Kangyo Bank, hired Yasuhiko Omori as CEO to manage SoftBank while he underwent treatment. He found a miracle cure that allowed him to recover and return to leading SoftBank. In the mid-1980s, Masa faced new challenges from Bill Gates and Microsoft, who sought to standardize the Japanese computer market. In 1986, Masa flew to Las Vegas to attend Comdex, where he met Bobby Kotick, connecting SoftBank with American software developers. He also hired Ted DeLauta, a computer industry veteran, to oversee SoftBank's operations in the U.S., strengthening its ties to Silicon Valley. Masa pushed for SoftBank to go public on the Tokyo Stock Exchange, but faced obstacles due to the company's financial performance and his own health issues. His focus on creating the greatest startup required capital and high-speed shortcuts that sometimes risked breaking established rules. In 1989, as Japan's bubble economy reached its peak, Masa's family faced financial difficulties, requiring him to intervene and manage their affairs. He also had to wrestle with the decision to naturalize and obtain Japanese citizenship. Masa took action, acquiring Ziff Communications' publishing empire, a bold move to expand SoftBank's reach in the U.S. His next goal was to secure as much stock as possible in a promising new company, Yahoo. SoftBank developed strategic ties, but faced resistance from those uncomfortable with Sun's success. SoftBank's success was not without its critics. A group of current and former employees published a book, Whistleblown: SoftBank's Crooked Management, alleging various financial improprieties. Masa moved to counter, but whistleblowing exposed conflicts and made growth harder. That forced SoftBank to look elsewhere. After surviving hepatitis and heartbreak, Masayoshi was ready to be born again. The book then explores Masa's focus on new territory, the United States. Having come to an understanding of his need to play the long game, Masa sets out to develop a deeper understanding of how to play the business game outside the confines of Japan. In the U.S., Masa created an office with a direct pipeline to the hot companies in Silicon Valley. In Las Vegas, Masa attended computer trade shows, seeking a chance to put himself and his company in front of the titans of tech like Bill Gates. From that point forward, connections became power. To create the best connections, Masa realized he needed to go beyond tech to capital. The American Awakening led to the plan to build a public company of high reputation and deep resources. As ever, Masa would not do things the normal way. That meant a complex series of cross-holdings that exposed him to serious dangers if the market turned. Masa secured a meeting with key executives at the prestigious Industrial Bank of Japan, where he confidently asserted he was an entrepreneur and his business focus was software. What Masayoshi lacked in product and business experience, he made up for with his vision. Despite facing public ridicule and financial straits, Masa managed to rally support and secure the financial backing needed to list SoftBank on the over-the-counter market. He then engaged on a course of putting his company and personal ambitions on a global stage. In spring of 1982, SoftBank got a call from a key political reporter at the Asahi Shimbun newspaper requesting a profile. Asahi wanted a profile of the Cinderella boys of the US and Japan, the key message being that they were creating a fortune with PCs. This was publicity that money could not buy. With rising profits, Mitsunori improved the net profit margin by employing debtors as well as members of his extended family. The young Masa was watching and internalizing a lesson about profit and loss. His real education had begun. With his growing wealth and the public listing secured, Masayoshi then set out to build SoftBank in his own image, ready to stake his fortune to make an even greater one. The company and his personal life were about to enter a new phase. As described earlier with his vision and growing wealth, Masa grew his relationships across the U.S., setting him on a new course. It was to be a path of increasing risk that put his business and private life on the line. Despite challenges, SoftBank continued to expand, leveraging its access to capital and strategic partnerships to become a global media and technology conglomerate. But the problem of his health was a pressing matter, the need for which led to his setting up a complex set of financial dealings. After several months in the hospital room, however, Masa's antigen levels dropped. He'd come back from the near dead, and he was back for action. By now, Masa was growing weary of the small scale of the business and was starting to look for bigger fish to fry. In this case, it meant a relationship with a titan of media and communications, Rupert Murdoch. By entering a relationship with Murdoch, a deal-maker with a vision to match his own, Masa made some important choices. He was selling out to the dark side. His business would be further leveraged, creating a constant tension between lenders and equity holders, and he would make some personal compromises that left those around him bewildered. By the start of the new millennium, Masa stood tall in Japan. His stock had gone up, and the prospects for his company were soaring. But in the background there were whispers, murmurs of discontent at his power and wealth. Like all tales of success, that of Masayoshi was about to turn once again, leading to his greatest test. Having secured a distribution deal, he was in a position to exercise control in a country where culture and connections count for everything. Then it all began to unravel. When Masa was ready to put everything on the line, he knew he had a single goal: become the ultimate controller of capital. However it went for Masa, he could not change his fate, and now had no option but to accept it, no matter how painful. That said, he was ready, if not to bend fate, then to attempt to change its course in a more favorable direction. Just as bad, the good times masked a more sinister aspect of Japanese business. The forces of darkness were beginning to circle around his company and the way he did business. As described, the bubble burst, and Masa came back to life through new technological transformations. As he's approaching his senior years, what could people expect to see happen in his near future? What does it take to win? It meant vision, for sure. You had to visualize the future, often against all good sense, and to have an acute understanding of the role that technology will play in transforming the future, whatever the obstacles. It meant surrounding yourself with talented people. This was not something that came naturally to Masa, who thought he knew best. With his outsized ego, he was no Bill Gates, so he was not interested in sharing success. That may have been his greatest failure. To secure a place in history, he had to accept that nobody does anything of significance all alone. But most of all, to win required a ruthless determination to succeed and a willingness to ignore whatever people said. After all, the best path forward always comes from looking into the distance, not at where your feet are placed right now. The book, Gambling Man, also presents some key heuristics. It can be concluded that Masayoshi Son's life teaches: vision is paramount. Always look to the future and envision how technology can shape it, even when others doubt your vision. Embrace risk. Calculated risks are essential for significant rewards, but understand the potential for substantial losses. Resilience is key. Bouncing back from setbacks is crucial. View failures as learning opportunities rather than defeats. Adaptability matters. Be prepared to reinvent yourself and your strategies in response to changing market conditions and emerging technologies. Influence trumps ownership. Building relationships and networks can be more valuable than outright control. Long-term perspective. Focus on long-term growth and potential, even if it means sacrificing short-term profits. Actions. Speak louder than words. Focus on doing over planning. Embrace failure. Don't worry about the potential cost of failure. Learn from what happened and get back on your feet with passion. To win, you must be different. When asked how he would like to be remembered, bearing in mind that he has no intention of retiring anytime soon, In our conversation in Tokyo in October 2023, Masa said he was not trying to be anyone else. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.